Alright, here we have a 1957 Thunderbird Junior body out of the original factory mold. These have every bit of detail that the factory would have designed in 1956 and through 1957 when it was originally made. If you can see through all the reflections, the detail lines, even the little vent up here in the front fender, the ventilation vent is shown in there. On the rear wheel wells, the fender skirts are in, and it even has a little area here that would have been the stone shield for the fender. These lines here, there's a line for where the mold line is that it need to be sanded out. These bodies come in pretty darn nice shape, but they do need to be block sanded. Some people like to take these definition lines for the doors and make sure they're consistent all the way through. Like I said, on the frame, this area of the dash will have to be cut out in order to allow the steering sector to go through. If you lower the steering sector, you won't have to cut out as much. When this body was laid up, we had 7 straight days of rain. Because of that, there was a little issues here and there. As far as the gel coat's concerned, we patched it over, but those will require block sanding and then probably a little bit of spot putty here and there to finish it off right. The reproduction grill inserts are available as original. They're a vacuum form plastic, and in the 57s the headlights actually cut out, and there was the headlights were a seal beam. They were actually the same seal beams as were used in a lot of handheld spotlights and car mounted spotlights. I'm not sure the diameter of them, but the detail on these things is pretty darn extreme. Hood scoop decals, original Newell stock ones are available. And tail lights, the original vacuum form style tail lights are available also to go in the rear sections. The headlights and tail lights are functional, and if you want to, you can even make your brake lights functional on these. I'll grab a rear bumper and a front bumper, put those into position so you can see what they look like in place. Here's the rear bumper being held in place. The rear bumpers are fiberglass, and on the 57 through 60 Thunderbird Juniors, the bodies actually are separate from the bumpers. The bumpers bolt directly on the frame, and then the body sets down in between the bumpers. The bumpers stay with the frame as the body is bolted and unbolted. These were originally painted in silver, but there are places that do a chrome plating on these, and you can actually get them chrome plated. Place for your little license plate, same size as a bicycle license plate. And over here on the exhaust ports, you can paint those in black just like the full-size car would have been. In the original mold, you can see the spot here, which was intended to be drilled out for bolting to the frame, but these are sent undrilled so they can be mounted as you choose. Alright, here's the 1957 Thunderbird Junior front bumper being held in place. Just like the rear bumper, it is bolted to the frame, and when the body lifts off it, they stay on the frame. Again, these can be chrome plated, but the original finish was a silver argent paint. The definition lines are there for the turn signal should you wish to do it. Again, like the rear bumpers, there's an indent for the mounts to the frame, but they're left blank so you can mount them wherever you want to on the body. They fit and conform to the body as they should, because the mold bucks were actually built by Ford Motor Company stylists. Prior to the introduction of the 1957 model year, they made these junior cars so that these junior cars could be produced and be out in the field to use by dealers to allow them to promote the sale of the new car. So these little junior cars would be out there in early 1957 also. Okay, what we have here is just a little piece of history. This is the 1957 Thunderbird Junior original body mold, front bumper and rear bumper molds that were made for the car company, for them to produce Thunderbird Juniors back in 1956. As you can see by the mold, it is quite old, quite sturdy, and still puts out a very good quality product. The details that were in them in 1956 are still in them today. Every detail as far as the mold lines, that have to be sanded out, but there's a lot of detail in there that you have to keep in place. I'll flip it over here, hopefully you see what we're talking about. In the dark it might be difficult to see, but the definition lines are there for the vent enclosure, the door surrounds, the fender skirts, the stone guards in the fender skirts even. Taillight buckets, as you can see, are recessed. Trunk line, definition lines for the trunk, definition lines for the hood, hood scoop, and the headlight buckets on these particular models are cut out. But the rear buckets are just painted silver after the body's painted to color, and then you can make the taillights actually function. Original ones used a number 55 bulb. They were run off 6 volts. 1957 would have been one of the first years for a gas-powered unit. They still ran 6 volt for the headlights and taillights, but you can use 12 volts, and LEDs available now make them so much easier to leave your headlights on during a show and really put on a display.